they haven't released a ton about it. We have one image and a majority of the major casting at this point.
What's your question? I'm sorry.
What are you kind of thinking so far? Like what temperature wise?
Well, I think I sent you the screenshot. I think we were texting about it one day, and I sent you a screenshot, and I was like, "What do you think about this?" Because I was thinking in my head at the time, this seems a bit off. It's too clean and clear and costumey. Like it seems too more. What are they? They go to like San Diego Con and Comic Con. What's it called when they dress up as characters?
Cosplay.
Cosplay. It seems like cosplay.
And
that's not good. But it's just a still. It's one still. It's not a trailer.
I know.
It just doesn't look. Nothing about it looks right. To me.
I don't think I have any footage of the first game. Okay, so the thing that will be interesting to me, the beard looks weird. Doesn't look right. Now again, it is just a still. It looks like they just took it on a camera. Like if this is an actual screenshot, like from the camera they're using to film. So I don't know if they just did this because they're trying to get a promotional material out there. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. I don't know. I know what this scene is specifically from, and there's not enough snow, which is some people might call it a nitpick, but in the game, they're hunting a deer or an elk, or it's a magical deer. And Kratos is trying to teach Atreus how to hunt. It's like he's, trying to do this fatherly figure thing. One of the things that I particularly like about the newer God of War games, so technically 4 and 5, is that it's a redemption and it's like a redemption story. It's a father and son story. And it's something that I think generally is quite hopeful, because of sort of like where it goes and a lot of the you can call them themes, but a lot of the arcs of the characters throughout the course of the 2 games that they've put out so far. Mind you, we're only 2 games in, and they've pretty much told the story they're going to tell as far as that part of Kratos, which I think is fine. They've done what they need to do. They don't need to they're thinking about doing spin-offs and stuff now, which I'm hesitant about. But and it's not you could call it a spoiler or whatever, but it's literally mentioned right as you start the 4th game. But Kratos essentially remarries, because there's a lot of lore to those first 3 games, and he remarries, ends up in sort of the Norse mythology, it's like Helheim and Valhalla and all that. There's Valkyries, and Odin exists and his sons and so on and so forth. And they're aware of who Kratos is, and so he ends up there and gets remarried, has a son, and Freya? No, not Freya, sorry. His wife's name's slipping my mind at the moment. Anyway, she dies, and so that first game is them taking her ashes to be spread in her realm. So there's a big,
interesting.
Yeah, there's a big portal in the middle. I don't know if Jenna's still in there. This is actually how Jenna and I met, was when I was playing Ragnarok. Yeah. He popped into the chat one day, and he's been hanging out ever since. But yeah, so it's essentially the face of the story is that they're trying to go basically put Kratos' wife to rest, and obviously Atreus' mother. And they basically run into a portion of the pantheon of the Norse gods in the first one, and then the rest of them kind of show up in the second one. And there's like hints and little things in the first one that like let you know sort of like what's going on, and it's telling you about certain characters. Actually, I guess Freya is in the first game. I think she, if I remember right, it has been a few years since I've played the games. And I think she like helps you. Oh yeah, she does, because her son, so like Freya was married to Odin, and then her son Balder, who can't die, he's immortal. And he wants to die, and he thinks Kratos can help him do that. And he basically won't leave them alone. So it's like he's like hunting Kratos through this story or whatever. And they go to see Freya to try to like fix the problem, and it just like causes some interesting things to happen that I won't give away right now, even though the games are a few years old at this point. It's such a great story to experience. The second one gets, I would say, too much flack for the obvious like race swap that they did in it. It's also like
what they do.
Well, they turned they made Agrabota black, and it's like, this is
okay.
It's Norse mythology. These are Nordic people. They are white. But I will say she's barely in the game for the most part. She's got like a pretty minor role in it, so whatever. But and that part of the game is actually kind of the worst part of it. The second game has a couple like minor problems, but you would think based on chatter online that it's literally one of the worst games that's ever come out, and it's not. It just isn't. It's not fair. And it's I would say it's bad critique to say that it's bad. Like, you like call out that stuff for what it is, but like don't make it out to be something that it isn't. And I think that it's got so much good to it, and I think that Kratos as a character and the way that they decided to develop him from where he was in the original trilogy makes a lot of sense. And I like that they did that. And so I'm curious, but also not real hopeful about what they might do with this version of it. Because I think it's a story that you could easily mess up. And it's a lot of people are saying they don't understand why they're starting with the Norse story in a setting that a lot of people who might watch this on Amazon, they're not going to have the same kind of context that a lot of people who played the 2018 game did for who Kratos was.
Right.
Like, God of War was huge. Those first three games were very big. People really liked them. I mean, they're kind of like, pulpy, violent action games about this kind of like irredeemable character or whatever. And, he kind of gets what's coming to him in the end. But despite a lot of the problems that the story in those have, it's too much time travel-y nonsense in it.
Right.
The ending for Kratos in that made a lot of sense. It's like, what did the revenge cost him? And what did it not only cost him, but the effect that it had on the world that he lived in. And so what the two following games did was essentially look at that and go like, all right, well, what if he survives, and like what's he going to think about that over time, right? He's older. He meets someone who loves him and is very kind and accepts him for who he is, but like wants him to change. And like, what does that look like now when he's having to raise a son of his own? And the potential for like certain things to pass down to his son, and it's awesome. I think I mentioned this to you a while back on one of the episodes, but it's mature in a way that we don't see from a lot of things. It's like we were talking about with Night of the Seven Kingdoms. A lot of people see those things as like, oh, we have to put like boobies and like penises and stuff in our show because that's the stuff that makes it mature. When in reality, there's so much more like going on where it's like a mature story is something that is specifically garnered towards adults, which also means it might have deeper themes. It might make you think a little bit more, which is
a very superficial and immature way to think that, oh, hey, what makes a movie adult is to have nudity in it.
Yeah.
That's really mature.
Yeah.
It's like that's something,
and so
that's something, in my opinion, that a kid would think.
Mm-hmm. And
makes a movie mature and adult rather than what you just said, the themes, characterization, subtext, the dialogue in the movie, through lines, being poignant and resonating with you.
For me, it's very similar to sort of the litmus test that I have with people who have seen Lord of the Rings and think that Boromir's like a bad guy. And there's probably, you could say there's like a spectrum to this a little bit, but like it doesn't mean that like you're hopeless, but it means that there's like a certain level of maturity and looking at a piece of art or work that someone has put a lot of time into, and you're just not understanding what they're getting across there, like the subtleties of it and the depth of it. And like there is a certain level of maturity that comes along with those things. And this is like God of War, especially the two, the 2018 game and Ragnarok. They're both going for like, you could call it higher brow, but like more mature storytelling than you see from a lot of video games. Right. And it is a bit unfortunate that people will look at that and go, we don't want that. And then they'll look at something like Resident Evil 9 and be like, that story's awesome, when it's just like a giant pile of trash.